Okay, it is officially time for this A to Z mini rework. My thoughts, ideas, changes, so on and so forth. So we are finally at Kalista, the Spear of Vengeance. Yeah. Physical, without a doubt, she is an ADC. Style, mostly auto attacks, and this is very true. She does do a lot of auto attacks. I'm not gonna lie, I would focus it a little bit more towards abilities because I would say that there are a lot of abilities mixed in with her kit at the same time. But still, I think it is okay where it's at currently. Difficulty 3, I would say so. I think that she doesn't necessarily, like, just to play her reasonably well is not that difficult, to be completely honest, in my personal opinion. But like that is reasonably well. This means that you're going to go even. But if you want to play her very good or really want to like succeed and go positive on her, that will take practice and a lot of it. She is a lot of mobility, yes, without a doubt. She's a good amount of damage, or a lot of damage, yeah. Utility, I can see it, but iffy. A Spectre of Wrath and Retribution. Kalista is an undying spirit of vengeance, an armored nightmare summoned from the Shadow Isles to hunt devious deceivers and traitors. The betrayed may cry out in blood to be avenged, but Kalista only answers those willing to pay with their very souls. Those who become the focus of Kalista's wrath should make their final peace, or any pact sealed with the grim hunter can only end with cold, piercing fire of her soul spears. Ow. Okay, then we're going to move over to her abilities. So we have Martial Pose. Enter a movement command with while winding up Kalista's basic attacks or piercing to lunge a short distance when she launches her attacks. So basically, she jumps every time she autos. I do not understand why this is the video for that. That's more of her ult than anything else. Enter a movement command while winding up Kalista's basic attack, or pierce to lunge a short distance when she launches. Yeah, like, I don't understand why that's the animation. Like, here's pierce, which we were just talking about. Throw a fast-moving spear that passes through enemies it kills. Notice how it says kills, meaning if it does not kill, it will not go through them. This is not very useful. It is used way more as a form of dashing, like with her passive, than anything else. The amount of times that you will get hit by this spear because it goes through a minion or goes through another person is not many. I would say that max like one a game. Maybe not even. Maybe if it's a really good Kalista and you aren't good, you'll see that. But like, this is something that goes in a straight line even after it hits someone, so it's insanely difficult to aim in the first place. And if you actually are going to take the time to get someone low enough to kill, it's just difficult. It's not something that you're going to get hit by that often, to be quite honest. Then you have her W. Sentinel. Passively gain attack damage when near her Oathsworn, which is, part of her passive/ult. Ally, and deal bonus damage when striking the same target. Activate to send a soul to scout out the path, revealing the area in front of it. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, it's really weird, though, the scouting out aspect of this thing. It is pretty useful because if you do it right, you can see it'll scout an area of like where you think a jungler is going to come, and it will spot him out if it goes through him. But at the same time, the pathing of it is sometimes really stupid. It's weird how it sees things, and yeah, and honestly, it's much more of the passive on this video, on this ability that's actually useful. Of gaining attack damage while near them, and do bonus damage when you hit the same target. And I honestly, this is another thing that I think that Kalista's difficulty is a little bit higher than others, is because she depends on the person that she's with at the same time. Not just with her W, but also her alt. Like, she doesn't decide these things. Like, yeah, she decides who she gives it to as her passive, which should be her support, but at the same time, she cannot do a whole lot with these abilities. She needs you to work with her with them. Yeah. Then you have her E, Rend. Now this is where a very large amount of her damage comes from. Yeah. Attacks impale the target with spears. Activate to rip the spears out, slowing and dealing escalating damage. Now, one thing that is very difficult to tell is how many spears you have. Honestly, I could not tell you. And if you are in the middle of a fight, you are not going to realize, because they will continue to keep stacking and stacking and stacking. And when she hits that E and you lose half your health bar, you are just going to just drop your jaw and be like, oh, okay. And that's a tank. That's not even like an ADC or someone squishy, because you just die. You just get destroyed. This is honestly a very large amount of her damage. I'd say that her normal auto attacks really are not an insane amount of damage. Like, obviously, it's an auto attacks from an ADC, so they're still going to really hurt. But out of all ADCs, I would really say that she isn't that insane off of pure auto attacks alone. This is what really gives her a very big edge. Well, that and her W, sort of. And see, this is said as before, she doesn't determine her ult either. Fate's Call. Kalista teleports the Oathsworn ally to herself. They gain the ability to dash toward a position, knocking enemy champions back. Knocking them back? What? Okay, I guess it does knock them back a little bit, but for the most part, it should honestly just say knocking them up. Because, yeah. It's what it's used for more than anything else. But, yeah, like, the only thing she does is make you invulnerable, potentially saving your life, because it can be used as, like, oh, my support's about to die, not type of tool. And because of that, she can use it. But at the same time, if you guys are trying to engage, she can use this ult, and then you, as a support, need to land in an area. Then as you, as a support, need to auto-attack someone to proc her W. Then, and then, you know, that's up to her after that. But at the same time, like, you need to be in a reasonable close to them. Yeah, she needs to stay reasonably close to you to get the bonus damage off of her W. But at the same time, like, she depends on her support more than a lot of other ADCs do. Now, I agree that, like, sometimes supports just feed their ADCs kill after kill when you have a good enough support. But for the most part, you know, like, this is one that needs their support to be at least decent for them to fully expand their kit. Because you have no idea how many times I have been pulled by a Kalista, not expecting it, and then, like, either randomly slammed down somewhere, or what's it called, to just, like, not really fully utilize it as well as I could. Like, I did knock someone up, and I got into the fight really well, but I didn't use it as really well as I could have. That, like, I did the part where I most of the time when I am a support, depending on the support, I'm using abilities a lot more than auto attacks. Now, yeah, I still will auto attack, but then, like, I am really not fully helping her do extra damage from auto attacking someone with her W and everything. Now, yeah, I said, like, it's still up to her for the most part. I don't decide, you know, who she rends and everything, and it's really just the alt and the W that I truly decide. But still, like, she does need that extra help from her support. Now, with Kalista in general, I would like her passive. I would say that it's, you know, like, one of the best mobility things in the game. Every time she auto attacks, she's capable of just dashing every time she uses her Q too, and something like that. And it can be very useful. And so I would honestly, I'd keep it just the way it is. It is just fine and okay. I like it. I like her Q, but honestly, I did wish that it worked in a somewhat different manner. Um, and this would actually be a bit of a buff. See, I do really like Kalista, and I think that it's honestly really difficult to fully how can I fully balance her. Because I feel like she's the type of champion that, yes, she is a very difficult, so you won't see her that often in general. But if you have like even a okay Kalista that like knows what they're doing, and like depending on the time of like the meta, she could completely run over your entire team, murder your tank because of her rend, kill the ADC really easily because of her just base auto attacks. So I do think that it is a bit of a difficult task to fully balance her, but at the same time, I think that right now she is a little weak, and just in general, she could use certain amount of help. Okay, so the changes that I would make, as I said before, I like her passive. I wouldn't make any changes to it. It is okay just the way it is. Her Q, I would make it so that it doesn't pass through things that it kills per se. I would have it mean that like the first thing that it hits, it like adds a stack of rend, meaning it impales you, which that it does that normally. Her Q, I think, is considered an auto attack, but I do know that it does impale you and it does like add a stack to you. And because of that, like it would still be used there. But when you use her Q, the first thing that it hits will be impaled, and then the Q will then travel through anything, except for like a Braum Q, obviously, and everything that it damages henceforth will do like half the damage, like an Ezreal ult, where everything it hits does less damage after like the more things it hits, and something like that. And I would also but if it does happen to kill whatever it hits, then it will no longer impale them, and then the next thing that it hits will be impaled. And like if everything dies that it hits, which is not like most likely not going to happen, then like the 10th thing that it hits will be impaled. Let's say you have an entire minion wave that all are at like no HP for some reason, and you use your Q and it goes through all of the minions, and then it hits someone. That person will then be impaled and have like the slow on them, because I'm pretty sure, I don't know if her Q slows. I feel like it does. I am like 90% sure I've been slowed before, but getting hit by that. Maybe it wasn't her Q, maybe it was her E. Rend might slow. Okay, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, but like the reason she has the utility is just because of her ult, and that's why I said it was kind of iffy, because yes, she does make her support invulnerable, but yeah, it's eh. Okay, but the next, that would be the change that I would make to her Q. It is a small buff. It's not insane, but it is a buff, and I think it's reasonable. Her W, her W is weird. As I said, I like the passive part of it, where you guys, like, if each of you hit someone, it does extra damage. I think that, like, I like the active part of it because it's something that's kind of unique, where it goes out and finds something and reports back, and, like, it'll go back and forth in an area. I really don't know for how long and all the individual things about it. But it is a weird ability that I'm just kind of iffy with. I would change what it does based off of the situation. Such as if you throw it out, you can like set it to like go over this specific area, it'll go back and forth, and it'll be purely observation. And while the ghost is out, like I would have it so that her passive actually deactivates. In the sense of like she won't gain the bonus damage from being near people, and she will not be able to do like the double strike thing with her other person to do bonus damage while the ghost is out on observation. Now she can like re-hit it to get rid of the ghost or something like that, but then she can do the other method of it, Now, the other method, like how would you swap over the capabilities of it? She doesn't have an alt that like changes her abilities or anything like that. No, so I would swap it in the sense of it like after if you throw it and it sees something in a specific amount of time, then that specific target like loses a small amount of armor or something like that. Now, not every target like right away, but like the first thing that it sees, it will then like hover over and stay next to that person, and that person will lose armor. But then yet again, while the ability is either in use or on cooldown, I would have her lose the passive part of her W. Now, so this is a bit of a buff and a bit of a nerf. It kind of depends on the situation. Such as, if you're... I think it depends on what you really are worried about. Meaning, if you're super ahead. Now, if you're really ahead, you do not need to be doing, like, a whole lot of extra damage. Your support's probably not going to be auto-attacking many things, like, if they're under tower, and so on and so forth. So I would personally, like, in that kind of situation, you want to throw it out, you want to do recon, things like that. If you think that you're going to be tower dive when you're really far behind, throw it out in the bush, something like that, see what's going on, because then you're really not trying to hurt the heck out of the enemy, you're just trying to survive and farm. But then when you use it for a situation where you are fighting, the other ADC, maybe you shouldn't throw out the ability at all. Like, you throw out your W, but then now you had to do the animation for it. Like, even though it's not like something huge, but you have to do the animation for it that the other ADC and the other support are capable of hitting you during. And then what if, like, the first thing that it ends up seeing ends up being the support, which is a tank. Now, yeah, that's going to be nice that you have armor pen on the tank now, or, like, it loses armor on the tank, but at the same time, you're trying to hit the ADC. Or when it goes on the ADC, like, okay, they lost some armor, but while they lost some armor, they've been hitting you and just things like that, so you might just want to keep the ability not activated. And then there could be other times where it's you and your support, and then, like, two bruisers like pop out of a bush, they start running towards you, you see them, they're catching up on you, and then you throw out your W and you make one of them lose some armor. Because of that, you're capable of auto-attacking them enough times and killing them and something like that. And because, like, the bruisers had a lot of armor, because you used your W on them is what made them more easier to kill and along that line. Okay. Her E, I wouldn't change. I think that the damage it does can be really stupid in some cases, but I would say that it is an okay ability as it is currently. And to be completely honest, I would say the same thing about her alt. If anything, I would give her a capability of reactivating her alt to kind of mark where she wants you to go. And you're probably thinking, like, oh, wait, what does that mean? Not as in, like, it forces you to go there. Not necessarily like that. But as there have been times where I've just been randomly as all hell alted. So what I decided to do is I decided to go in. And, like, we went in, and then we got killed, and then afterwards, like, I didn't want you to go in there. I wanted you to, like, go into the side or something like that. And, like, well, I don't know that. Like, I just went balls to the wall. I dropped down straight on the ADC, just started smacking, like, sort of smacking the heck out of him. Their support blocked my Kalista from doing anything, and I'm just sitting there like, oh, well, you see. When she had in mind is from, like, flank from the side, which, to be truthful, they were kind of, like, open from that side, but, like, still, it's just, it's a bit iffy. There have been times where I don't understand what they were actually planning, but, at least I could have maybe done their plan and seen if it worked out. In the sense, so there's been a time when we got ganked, and the gank started to move in towards the tower. Now, I had lost 90% of my HP. I was about to die. I had no HP at all, and then I got her ult on me. I couldn't think of the name right there. Fate's Call. So I'm thinking, oh, she wants me to keep going, like run away. I'm about to die. We can get through this. She can, use her passive to run away, and she can throw out her Q. No, because they were under tower. And even though, we still probably would have died, to be completely honest, they were all max HP and everything. Because they were under tower, she wanted me to go in so that we could potentially turn it around and get like a 3 for none, or like a 3 for 1 or 3 for 2, which, like, no matter what, we'd come out on top if we actually killed all 3 of them. But yeah, she wanted me to blop on them and knock them up under tower so we could turn it around. But then, and I did not. I ran away. So what I was trying to say is, like, she could reactivate her ult, and then it will, like, mark an area. Like, think of right here, where you get pulled in like that. Then she could hit her ult again, and it will, like, put a spear in the ground that has, like, your face on it or something like that. Like, a spear will just appear there. And then basically, and, like, anyone will be able to see it. That way the enemies could also kind of avoid it. But basically what it could do is it's her telling the person that she has in her, like, that is invulnerable, that she's collected, telling them, land there, go there. And it can also even, like, really trick people. Like, if I'm communicating with my ADC and she places the thing on top of, like, the support, and because of that the ADC, like, doesn't walk back as far as he should have, and then I jump down on the ADC or something like that, where, like, you could potentially mess with the enemy team because they'll be able to see where she wants you to go, sort of. But yet again, that'll just, like, make it a bit more on her, a bit less on her support type deal. Same with her other, like, her W, the changes that I was saying. Basically, I just want her to be a little bit more in control, I guess. But, like, both of these are, everything I've said so far has been, like, buffs with a slight nerf or maybe no nerf. Like, the Q one really didn't have a nerf there. Her W was basically the same with, like, minor nerfs, but minor changes. Her end I kept the same, and her passive, yet again, like, all that really does is it's not really a nerf at all, but at the same time, it's not really a buff. It's not, well, at least not like a huge one. It's just kind of like a strategy thing that you could do, or potentially, just kind of help out her and communication even when there's not communication. Like, if you're not talking to the other person, this would help. And that's all the changes that I have with her. Then we have her skins. So the Blood Moon, which I do think that it does look good, but compared to a lot of the other Blood Moons, it's really not as great as the other ones. I think that they made the mask, as I could only say, too scary, and not enough of it just being cool. Like, if you look at a lot of other maps, there is a scary effect to them, but then there's also, like, oh man, that looks really cool effect to them. And, like, this does have that effect, but the scary effect is much bigger than the oh man, that looks cool effect. But I do like the rest of the skin, the torn bits, I do like the skin in general. I think the spears could look a bit more menacing or cool. I honestly wish that they did more of, like, the torn effect. Like, you can see on her one leg, like, the cloth is more torn. I wish that they did that on more of her body. I think that, because, like, I kind of like it in her base skin essence, like, just things down here of, like, the random robes and, like, the holes in her stomach because of the spears, and, like, the cloth ripped around her arm, like, things like that I kind of like. I don't know why, I just think that it's a cool effect to have in some cases. And I wish that they did that a little bit more here, but I think the skin is overall good. I'd give it a 6 out of 10, to be completely honest. Championship, this skin does look really nice. It is really cool. It shows her in a completely different light, because, over here you see her as, like, kind of menacing, kind of creepy looking, a little evil, and here she's calm, collected, menacing still, but a different type of menacing. Not creepy menacing, just normal menacing, and think, oh man, she's gonna kill me. And, like, even the spears and everything, like, it is a solid skin, but it is a championship, so that's what it's meant to be. I'd give it a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. Good job. SKT1, I don't understand why Kalista has so very few skins. Like, they gave her no love at all. She has 2 skins because I don't consider these types of skins to be like legit skins, to be completely honest. Which, yeah, she does have the SKT ones, but it's meh. Honestly, like, compared to a lot of the other skins that they have here, like her and they're just meh. I'd give a 5. It's worse than the Blood Moon. And like, she really doesn't have that many skins in general. Like, I really think, like, think of when she was released. Oh man, it's like she's not that old, but she's not that new either. But like, if there's been so many more champions that have gotten so many other skins, and it just irks me. And something, I don't really have a specific skins ideas for her per se. I think that there are a few things that could have done really nice with her. Like, to become, I don't know why, but I have the idea of like an Odyssey skin just in my head, and I feel as if it would have worked really well with her. Like doing something similar with Jinx, where part of her is like a machine, and then the other part of her to be more like Sona, where she's like wearing some long garb that's just kind of like foreign looking, but still looks cool and unique at the same time. While also just like keeping a robotic feel to it. I think that would have been pretty nice. I don't know why, that's just like what I have in my head for her. And then, like, why does she not have a Halloween skin? Like, really, why does she not have a Halloween skin? She's literally like the spirit of vengeance, but yet she doesn't have any sort of Halloween skin. Excuse me, guys. Like, maybe you could have fixed this. She seems like she definitely could be some sort of like menacing. Like, make her into a skeleton. Like, I feel like that would work really well in the form of just her body. Like, just don't put any skin. Actually have just pure bone with just different, like, change up the armor in different areas. Don't give it like a weird decrepit sort of hair. And just, honestly, I feel like that'd be really scary and really creepy. But at the same time, I feel like it would really fit her. Like, fit the idea around her and how she looks and so on and so forth. And those are the only really 2 that I can come up with not really on the spot, but just come up with in general. And I really don't have any others besides that. I do think that she does kind of deserve new skins. I understand that they don't do new skins purely off of how old the champion is, but at the same time, they really do neglect the hell out of a good amount of champions. It's like, there's plenty of ideas out there, guys. Like, it's not that hard to just make skins, especially because, people have to buy those and so on and so forth. There's no negative aspect to making a skin. Okay, but that has been my ideas, thoughts, changes, mini reworks, and so on and so forth on Kalista. If you agree or disagree with me on anything that I have said, please leave a comment down below. If you have any ideas yourself over what you'd change with her, what you'd add with her, and so on and so forth, or even like a skin idea or something like that, please, leave something down in the comments. I will gladly go look at it and respond to it. If you have any critique yourself, just like go ahead, put it down there. I will gladly get back to you as soon as I possibly can. And with that, I'm going to thank you all very much for watching today's video, and I'm going to bid you all adieu. Goodbye.